Hi guys, I'm Shmee and today I'm in the south of France with Audi for a press launch event with the R8 V10 Plus, their new supercar of course. Now this is the right-hand drive launch, so the UK journalists are down here today, and given I was currently located not too far away, Audi invited me to come along to Circuit du Castellet pour a car here today to take a look at their new beast. Naturally, the one I've chosen to take a proper look at today is this car in Aura Blue, crystal effect paintwork, and it just looks awesome. This is going to be a sort of look around the car, a first drive in it, some early driving impressions, and of course sort of letting you know what the car feels like from my perspective and how much I like it. I've had a fantastic drive over here today. The roads around here are wonderful, so I'm looking forward to taking this out. But a little bit about the car then. So the new R8 Plus, whole new model. Obviously there was the R8 before, which was facelifted to include the S-tronic gearbox, which this car maintains, so the 7-speed dual clutch. It has the familiar 5.2 litre V10 engine, now with 610 PS, 550 Newton meters of torque. The car has a curb weight of 1,555 kilos. And this car, being a sort of very highly equipped example, comes in at £154,000. The base list price is £133,000, so fairly good amount of specification, added optional specification to this car. One of the new features, of course, is Audi's laser lights. They're full LED adaptive headlights, new technology, very, very trick. From a sort of design perspective, it's sort of significantly beefed up and more aggressive. So you have a slightly more pointed front grille with this sort of front leading edge here. It comes out to a sort of point across the front just above the number plate. The grille itself is wider, slightly more angular in design around the sides. Under the headlights, you have that new sort of vented area for cooling through the front. Again, more aggressive in design than before. This car has a lot of carbon fibre, so we've got the door mirrors, we've got the side blades in two parts, the rear wing, it's got the carbon fibre engine bay that I'll get to in a moment. One sort of very big design point when I'm thinking about it that's changed from the previous generation is the movement of this sort of from one big side blade piece into the two separate parts. At the top with a cooling vent, and of course the larger vent down at the side. For bringing in air towards the engine there. So that sort of breaks up the design significantly better. I like it personally. I always found the side blade a little large. Some people will, I think, miss out or feel that they're missing what the R8 used to have. Around back, we've got this carbon fibre spoiler that comes on the V10 Plus version. There's a non-Plus version of the car as well that lowers power, a little over 100 horsepower, I believe. Around back we've got more sort of open areas, letting air out, to increase cooling, and you can see in through the exhaust there as well, which is nice. Big carbon diffuser going on down here with these sort of twin quad, I should say, exhaust tips, two on each side, angular shaped finishers around the outside. We can get a very nice view at the engine. Hopefully the light reflections are not too bad there on the camera, but 5.2 litre V10, familiar unit from before, from the previous Gen R8 V10, and of course now the Lamborghini Huracan LP610 as well. Lovely strut brace across the top of it and a huge glass window, so you get a very nice view of that with all the carbon fibre surrounding it too, which looks very, very nice. I personally love this touch, the new R8 logo here on the filler cap. It used to be sort of an embossed logo on the previous generation car. And we've got ceramic brakes as well. Audi ceramic brakes, so we've got some very good stopping power available to us on tap. Now let's take a look at the inside quickly, which I'll go through in more detail a little bit further on. Unlock the car. This is the Audi key, R8 designation on the rear. As we walk up, handle on the underside here, pull the doors open. So a quick look at the interior, where things have changed quite significantly versus the previous version. And the biggest thing you'll notice is this full new display. Full digital display on the dashboard that you can change so much on. Like I say, there's too much to talk about right at this second, so I will run through all of that in due course. Steering wheel itself now has a number of buttons that can sort of, well, do different things. You've got the start-stop button here, you've got the drive select mode, so you don't have to take your hands away to change the different sort of suspension, dynamic steering, sports exhaust button, all those sort of settings you can now do with your hands from the steering wheel. Then you've got the controls to go through what you're looking at on the display. In the centre you've got the gear stick for that 7-speed S-tronic system. These lovely dials that are sort of becoming familiar across Audi's new cars with digital displays for the air conditioning in the centre. So all in all, it's a very sporty interior. Nice departure from the previous generation, just with a little bit more sort of bespoke design to it, and some very comfortable sports seats as well in the car. So I think it's about time now I start this car up and we take it for a test drive. V10 roars into life. Not a bad display to start with right there. Rev counter in the center. So let's get underway. Driving out of the circuit then, and this is of course quite a big deal. This is the new R8 Plus. It was widely anticipated before it came out, and of course the R8 is such an important car for Audi. Certainly from my perspective, when the previous generation came out, it was such a sort of introduction of a flagship that changed the sort of look and appeal of the brand in quite a big way. You know, that car, 2006, 2007, nearly a decade ago now, really made a statement of intent with Audi releasing an incredibly powerful mid-engine supercar. We had the V8, of course, before the V10 came out a year or two later, but that was when the performance really came about. This time around, we've got the V10 from the word go, so we've got all of that performance, and this thing certainly packs a pretty powerful punch. It's right up there with the supercars that you expect it to be. In fact, this is where it's quite interesting how much of this car is shared with the Lamborghini Huracan. Now, they're both 610 horsepower, they're both very similar, same engine, same sort of chassis setup, of course, massive numbers of part sharing, I'm sure, but this car is nearly £50,000 cheaper. Obviously it doesn't have the Lamborghini badge, it doesn't have the necessarily looks of the Lamborghini, but it's an Audi and a lot of people really like that. It's sort of slightly more subtle, less in your face, and I can imagine when I get to sort of pushing on a little bit better, it probably drives really quite well. Certainly that's what I'm expecting. In this kind of fully automated mode where I'm literally just pootling along down the road here, gearbox is automatic, exhaust valves are closed, everything's in automatic with the drive select settings, so comfort suspension, comfort steering, nothing fancy set up. It's really quite nice. You know, I'm just out for a Sunday stroll. Well, it's not a Sunday, but same story. Brilliantly, I'm on some lovely smooth tarmac here. Very little noise from the outside. Just by way of a test, I'm going to press the exhaust button. Hear it making a difference. There we go, you can immediately hear more of the V10 engine noise coming through. We're in 6th gear at sort of 40 miles an hour, very standard. Nice and relaxed, I think you could call this. Nothing to worry about. So let's have a play. Drive select. Okay, there we go. That went straight into dynamic mode. Of course, it downshifted because dynamic mode has a sportier sort of gearbox setting set up. You can obviously go into manual with these paddles on the back of the steering wheel, but it has a nice early downshift on this setting, which I quite like, because for this kind of road, it means you're always going to get some of the best noises from it. Not bad, not bad. I actually really like that early downshift. It's quite like the Huracan, of course, and the sound is similar in the sense that you have those crackles that come in after you downshift. And I've just realised I've got a nice little dynamic text logo in the centre of the display as well, which is cool. So hear it. There we go, crackle, crackle, crackle. It's awesome, that's for sure. I'm actually really enjoying this. It's a very nice car to just jump in and drive, there's no question about it. Even in the sort of sportier setting now, it's a very nice car for this purpose. And this is a very nice road to be driving on, that's for sure. So I can feel also, of course, that it's firmed up slightly. The steering's a little bit tighter. And that's all part of the sort of optional package you can have with Drive Select for the dynamic steering and the suspension. I'm going to go onto the paddles just to make some slightly more antisocial noise, I suppose. Very nice. And effortless kind of power. It just pulls away, just keeps going delightfully. Exactly what you want. So do remember that this is literally my first impressions drive. I don't have long with this car today, so I'm just sort of playing around, getting a feel for it, seeing what it's like. I'm going to start pressing some buttons, I think, actually, and I've got a little bit of traffic in front of me. So the view button is the big one, splits the display out, then you get a whole lot more information to look at. You can cycle through your nav, your radio, your telephone, your notes, all sorts of different things. Oh, that is your phone. And obviously all the trip information stuff. It's a beautiful display, no question about that. And when you've got all the information up, you still have the sort of rev counter and the speedometer dials, but they're a little bit smaller. Quite hard to see, actually. but I suppose you wouldn't really need them. You have a large speed readout in the bottom right. And just keep going. It's lightning fast shift, lightning fast shift. I mean, you expect that from the S-Tronic, they're brilliant systems. Pop, 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 crackle, crackle, crackle. It's a completely seamless upshift, actually. You don't even really realise that there's a shift. You certainly don't feel it. And this is in the dynamic mode. You can obviously customise the settings with Drive Select and have individual mode. It's very quick. It's very, very quick. This is obviously not the right place right now to be experimenting with it all, but from a sort of comfort point of view also, we're nice. We've got great visibility. You can see a lot out the back because there's such a large rear glass window. Your whole rear view mirror sees backwards, and it's a very sort of small frame around the rear view mirror, which is quite nice visually as well. Door mirrors, you can obviously look out over the sort of side intakes you can see, and the rear sort of haunches and the end of the wing you can just catch in the mirrors, which is quite a cool view to be looking out at as well. Inside, everything's sort of a little bit more aggressive and angular. So the air vents, for example, they're not a sort of uniform shape. They're a little bit sort of variable and adjusted. Just look quite nice. And then you've got all the air conditioning vents, which are all pretty cool as well. So far, I'm feeling like this is a pretty good car. You know, I'm certain it has masses of everyday driving characteristics that are fantastic. And that's where it's going to excel. But it's also got quite a lot of punch and quite a nice sound to it. One thing that's quite nice, you have normal indicators on the stalk here. So many new cars now have, you know, left or right on the different sides like Ferrari, or you have the Huracan where both left and right is with your left hand, which is just mind-boggling. And very hard to get used to. Here we've got it the normal way. Looking out forwards, the windscreen is super, super raked. It's incredibly long, sort of, and far away. It sort of extends vastly further than in any normal car. Of course, we've got the all-wheel drive system, so from a sort of luggage point of view, that's going right out forwards to sort of in front of the front drivetrain, which does take a little bit away from the luggage space, although not too much. I'll try and remember to have a look in there later. What else? Yeah, well, I'm going to apologise now if there's any annoyance from sunlight that's sort of completely probably in the way. Unfortunately, it's that time of year. This is quite nice, heading back uphill now, able to put a little bit more power down. This button here on the steering wheel with the checkered flag puts us into performance stabilization, so slightly less traction control that's going to support the car, should make it a little bit more playful. I'm not going to be pushing the car hard enough necessarily to experience it myself today, but it's also put performance mode on the dashboard. I'm really quite enjoying this, you know. I loved my R8 back when I owned one the previous gen with the R-Tronic semi-auto gearbox, and they certainly needed that dual clutch that they put in the facelift of the previous generation. But this is just refining everything that bit further, and now we can do this. Yeah, it gets a move on very quickly. As I was saying, it just kind of sort of refines the car, you know. It's a totally new project, and there's clearly been a lot of work put into it. And it's just a fantastic all-round machine because it has that performance and excitement while having the everyday side of things, which is so hard to sort of, I mean, cars are tending to go that way, but hard to get in a package this good. It's really good. And then off we go again. Cars like this is that I just end up wanting to upshift and downshift them all the time just to hear the exhaust noises, just because you want to get that like lift off, pop pop, crackle bang, or you want to get the upshift noises, which I just can't get over how fast that is. Unnecessarily down to second. while I'm sitting in traffic behind some cyclists, just an opportunity to think about it a little bit more, I suppose. Steering setup is very nice, it's just right for what this car should do. To be honest, crawling along very slowly in first gear is quite nice as well. It's the kind of car you could drive every day in central London or something without problems. And when it does open up, you can do this. Okay, I noticed on the rev counter there, don't know if you saw it, it goes sort of orange and then green and then orange with some lights, which is very nice just before the upshift. Down to first just to demonstrate that. You get even a flash of complete red when you hit the when you get near the red line, giving you that sort of heads up that it's time to shift up. That's quite nice as well, very visual. Obviously you're going to spot that straight away. But that's pretty much it for my short test drive today. I've had fun, that's for sure. I'm looking forward to maybe having some more experience with this car in the future. But let's for the moment take it back in and have a run over and take a look at some of the sort of extra features that I haven't yet mentioned. Back at base and a brilliant little drive in the car. I do love it in Aura Blue, but I'm just going to swing the camera around here and show you the yellow car, because that is a proper sort of supercar colour, isn't it, right here? I actually think it looks brilliant in the yellow. Absolutely brilliant. Yellow. And the two blue cars together here. Swing back round to the car that I'm filming with. So, let's look at a couple of other things then that I haven't yet shown you. I love that we're hearing R8 left, right and centre. Let's pop open the bonnet. Do by pressing the button. Oh, of course there's a latch, nice sort of, when you lift up on the inside there. This is what I was sort of saying, it's a very, very small front luggage compartment. You'll fit one bag in here, but that's all to do with the drivetrain for powering front wheels, of course. It sort of eats into that space there. New R8 Plus is everywhere. So press it down to close it. Actually, that's quite a nice view when you're up here, how much this sort of sticks out around here. I think that's quite a nice little design feature down there. See if I can work out how to open the engine bay in here. I should probably know. Right, this is the ultimate challenge. Where's the button? Does someone who doesn't know, can they find where to open the engine bay from? And so far, I'm failing. A little bit of playing around later and we've got it. It's just back there behind the seats, but it needs the ignition on. So I'll get to that in a second. Let's just have a quick play with the dials and things in here then. So fire this up. Keys in my pocket. And there's a nice sort of storage pocket for the key just there in the center console above the volume controls. Here you've got some sort of direct controls to go into your different modes and settings. Offering me all sorts of things. There we go. Massive navigation screen, which is just plain cool. I love that feature. Truly, truly brilliant. All the music type settings and things. I've got the radio off at the moment. And all the trip information. Lots and lots and lots of lovely stuff you can play with and sort of fiddle around with, and then go back to the main menu there. And this is just brilliant. This is just absolutely, absolutely brilliant. And you all control through these buttons around here. Zoom in, zoom out. See, you're in the air. South coast of France. Oh, it even shows the ferry routes out of Marseille. So that's just amazing. I love all of that. The drive select settings. Okay, that takes us back to main. I'm sort of learning as I go here. Navigation command, telephone, voice recognition, next and last track, volume, stuff you kind of expect. Cruise control is down on this side. Got heated mirrors and folding mirrors here on the door panel. Heated seats. Just glance at the quick sort of spec list for this car. We've got a reversing camera, the carbon engine trim, LED headlight, storage packet, sports exhaust system, dynamic steering, Audi magnetic ride, Alcantara headlining with stitched diamond design. That's up there. I'm not sure if you can quite see that. There we go. Got the light on it. Extended fine Napa leather package, cruise control, smoking package, Bang & Olufsen sound system. Does sound very good. I can't show you that, unfortunately, due to copyright, and the Audi phone box. And that makes this car 154,225. CO2 emissions 208.7. Spec list, I won't bore you with all of the details. 5.2 litre V10, 610 PS, 560 newton meters of torque. I apologise, I think I might have said 550 earlier, so correction on that. 560 newton meters of torque, 7-speed S-tronic, gear ratios there if you're interested. Weights 98 RON fuel, 0 to 62 miles an hour, 3.2 seconds, top speed 205 miles per hour, 2-year service, and yeah, 112 litre luggage capacity in the front, which is quite a small number. 226 if you store some luggage in this area behind the seats, which you can get to. You can fit some bags in there. There's also a sort of fitted shelf kind of bag there too. But the thing I promised that I would show you, I will now show you, pulling open the engine cover, which is done with that. Oh, hydraulically opens, that's quite cool. There you've got lots of lovely V10-ness and lots of carbon fibre, even the centrepiece here on the cover at the base. Engine very low, mid-rear mounted of course, engine sits in front of the rear wheels, so it makes it such a dream to drive. Oil cap down at the back. Mostly self-explanatory back there. It's quite warm, I'm not going to lie. Close it up. Gentle press on each side. That's down. And there's some cool vents along here as well on the upper side of the rear window. Just look at that display though. How cool is that? That's a proper, like, I don't know, just fun gadget thing in a car. Glove box. Lots of stuff in there. Excuse all of that. All the stuff needed for driving in France, but decent glove box. And the Bang & Olufsen stereo. So yeah, it's pretty nice in here. I'm not gonna lie, I've had a good little drive, enjoyed it a lot. Yeah, love it. Love it, what a car. Very, very good car. I know what all the comments are going to be from Shmee 150 followers though. Are you going to buy it because it's blue? No, I don't have any plans to buy this car. You never know, maybe in due course. It is a wonderful machine. And it comes in at a very, very attractive price point. I think it's almost treading on their own toes a little bit, because the car this goes against is the Huracan. Well, no, it doesn't. It goes against the 570S and the V12 Vantage S and the AMG GTS and the 911 Turbo S. There's a trend here, isn't there? But this versus Huracan, let's say, this is so much of the car for so much less money. I think I would have one of these, to be completely honest. This versus the other lot, well, so much of it these days is going to come down to design, who you like, what brand you like. But this as a sort of car itself is absolutely brilliant. I very, very much enjoyed driving it, and I'm glad I was able to get along today and take that out for a test drive. I'm going to wrap this up there though. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure you're subscribed. I'm also going to shoot a full video showing you around all the interior electronics on a different car, but my time is up with this one, so I'll wrap up there. Thank you very much, and I'll catch you soon. Cheers. Hi Nick, how are you?
Hello, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Hi, nice to see you.
Pretty excited about today. I can see the car over there. Let's go straight inside.